Welcome to our live, and we're going to be talking today. You know what would be awesome? I'm going to show you what we're talking about today. Okay, welcome YouTube, welcome Facebook. We are celebrating today. This is going to be a fun little training for you that's going to expose you to a large concept in running and in your training that we're going to distill down, and we're going to do it very briefly because I want you to be able to see a snapshot of how you can actually improve your running and how you can do so really quickly, because there's a lot of people, there's a lot of like gurus in anything, in business, in relationships, in finance, in whatever, that say, I've got the secret key for you to like do something. And we're tempted to believe it. But deep down, we know that there's no substitute for aligning yourself with what it is you want, taking massive action, and taking no substitutes. And so what I'm going to share with you here is... Get out of here. Notifications popping up here. So hello, jump on and say hello. Let me know where you are. Let me know where you're from. And I appreciate the love. Any comments you have as we go along, I'll come back to them at the end, and we'll be answering any questions too. So what we're talking about really is what I have produced here for you. I've spent 3 years working on the Run Elite book, which launched about 4 days or so ago here. And I'm going to sort of walk you through what this contains. And it's not because like a book will change your life, but information can change your life. And what I've done is take the information that I use in order to get outstanding results with you, with my clients, with my running leaders for the last many, many years. And there's a lot of stories in here. I'll share maybe one or two, but I want to share the structure of what it actually takes to get a breakthrough in your performance so that you can get it for yourself as well. Now, what I want to share with you is, hey, AJ, SoCal in the house. Awesome. Love it. Gerardo, good to see you. Justin Nevins, Seattle, Washington. Oh, that's where you are. All right, cool. Love it. Thank you. The truth is that you're maybe not going to like what I'm going to say right here. And then I'll leave it to you, and then I'm going to go into the training here. But the truth is that most people really don't want to level up their lives. They really don't. I mean, we live in an age of ease in the United States with, or maybe not if you're elsewhere, because we have international audience here, but we live in 2023 right now in a westernized world. We have the internet, for goodness sake. We have artificial intelligence. We have books. We have Amazon that can deliver things to us instantaneously. We have abundance of groceries, abundance of opportunity, electricity, clean water. We have all of this opportunity, and a lot of people don't really live a life that they would say that they want. It's like they're longing for something, but the opportunity is there. And the opportunity to seize and grab onto what it is that you want is there. And the opportunity to identify with what limits us is also there. And that's really the skill set that is up to you, that nobody can coach, no mentor can help you with, no parent can help you with, nothing. This really comes down to like a human decision for yourself is, am I going to go this way and level up by choice because I really want to, or am I actually kind of comfortable? It's not the way I really want it, but it's comfortable enough, and it seems like a lot of pain to have to grow or give something up or give up security. And so I'm kind of going to stay here and hope that it changes for me. And that's what a lot of people do. But that's one of the beautiful things about athletics, about running, but about any sport really. I really love running, and as do you, otherwise you wouldn't be a member of this channel and this group. So running is a little bit different because running is just you. It's just your body. You don't have an implement. You don't have a machine. You don't have a team. You do. Everything's a teamwork, right? You have your pacers and your crew and the support and the medical staff. But I mean, really, when it comes down to the race, it's you. And you're having to work with your physical limitations. You're having to work with your mental limitations and your... What is going on here? Okay, I guess we're switching cameras. Sorry about that. There we go. And you're having to work with your even spiritual limitations. How many of you have had an experience where you're running a race and your body kind of gives out, so you keep pushing mentally, maybe in a marathon, but then your mind kind of goes numb and you transcend the body and the mind, and you get into like almost a spiritual place. Call it what you will, but you get into this place of like flow and ease and beauty and joy. And even though the body is hurting and the mind is hurting and numb, you find joy and you can level up there too. And that's really what makes distance running, or endurance sports really, but distance running a little bit different from other sports, is like we go through those phases in order. So what I'm going to share with you here is a formula that you can use. And it's not a training formula. That's like in the book. We're not going to have time to go into that today. It's all in there for you, but I'm going to share with you the formula for like how you get better. So we're going to take off the glasses, take off the blindfold, and just show you. All right. Now I'm going to do my best to do this on the whiteboard here, but because of technology, I'm going to have to hold this microphone here. So we can get it to work. Here we go. Hi from Solana Beach, Karen. Hey Mimi. So good to see you from Atlanta, and Anna from Asheville, North Carolina. Okay, here we go. All right, so what I'm going to share with you here is, thanks for bearing with me, technology issues, so I got to hold this here. Normally I have a headset on. What I'm going to share with you is two things here. So number one, I want you to see that in your training, there is this idea that you want to train the metabolic systems, that you want to train your lactate threshold. So let's write that down here, and we'll say lactate threshold here. Okay. Now that's something that you've probably heard before. You want to train it. You want to do tempo runs, threshold runs to improve this. And you do, you really do, but it's not the limiter of your performance. So this is like the main thing that people are kind of focusing on. And then also, what do we focus on as runners? We focus on VO2 max, right? VO2 max. And this is kind of our aerobic threshold. And so we do training for VO2 max and lactate threshold. And then everything else is kind of an easy run or a long run, or maybe a marathon pace run if we're really smart, if we're marathoners. But this is really how training looks. And the running books that are out there, they really do harp on this. Daniel's Running Formula, fantastic book. I love it. The guy is so smart. He's actually named the greatest running coach in the world by Runner's World magazine. He keeps getting this accolade year after year. His book is freaking amazing. If you haven't read it, you should probably read it. But this is his conclusion, that there is lactate threshold and VO2 max, and then running economy. And those three things determine your running performance. And so the idea that is pervasive in the running world is that we should train lactate threshold, VO2 max, and running economy, because those are the three things that determine our performance. So why else would we train something else? That's been the idea. Now I'm going to break this for you right here, and you're not going to like it if you've been training like this. But when you're in, let's say, a marathon, you are running at about, you're not, something's getting maxed out, right? If you race really hard all the way to the end and you fall down at the end and you give it everything you got, you went 100%. But your lactate threshold was only at about 95% of lactate threshold for the marathon. So you maxed out, but you didn't max out your lactate threshold. Now, VO2 max is even lower. You maxed out in the race, in the marathon, if you went hard and you gave it 100%, but your VO2 max was only at about 85%, maybe less even, of what you're capable of your VO2 max pace. So these things didn't get maxed out. So even though they're important, they're not what limit your performance. Then the third one, which I'm not going to write here, you'll see why in a second, is running economy. Running economy really does limit your performance. It's very powerful. It's basically how efficiently your body moves, how efficiently on a gross level, like your arm swing and your leg swing, but also on a smaller level, how efficiently the muscles and the nerves are firing. And that's basically how efficient you are, your running economy. That's really important. But here it is. Ready? Watch closely. If you're just listening, watch the board really here, because what I'm going to share with you is that these are important, but they're not what limit your performance. So what does limit your performance? There are two things that are more important for limiting your performance than the metabolic systems. And there's one that's even more subtle. So do you see what we've done right here is if you're training here, you're missing out on, and I'll tell you what these are right now, but you're missing out on 3 of the 4 limiters of your performance. So it would be a mistake. And you're not even training. Now, if it were the main limiter of your performance, i.e. if these things determined your performance, then maybe we just want to train them, but they're not. So here is what limits your performance. And this is section 2 of the book. Here we have, there's 3 sections in the book. Section 2 walks you through this here. And it walks you through the actual limiters of performance. So why do you want metabolic systems that are really fit and able to supply blood and oxygen to your working muscles? So these only matter because they supply fuel to your muscles. So we're just going to put muscles here. And really what I'm saying is your neuromuscular system, the efficiency of your nerves and muscles. So you can train VO2 max and lactate threshold all day, but if you're not doing work that is pace specific for the race that you're running, now it could be the marathon for some of you here. It could be the 5K. It could, Mimi, you run 10K, 5K, I believe half marathons too. It doesn't matter what the race is, but you want to train your muscles specifically for the demands of your race. And this is why when this story is in the book here, about 2/3 of the way through the book, we talk about Lance Armstrong. You remember this guy, right? Who could forget? Very famous biker. He was, now regardless of what you think about his ethics of doping, he still worked his butt off and he was a fierce competitor. This guy was, really good. Now, when he retired from biking, he ran the New York City Marathon. So Runner's World magazine compared Lance Armstrong with the then world record holder, Paul Turgot. And they compared lactate threshold and VO2 max. And I may be able to find it here for you. There it is. So on page 71 in your book, there's a chart here that shows Paul Turgot, Lance Armstrong, and it compares a bunch of metrics for them. But among those metrics, we're looking at VO2 max and lactate threshold. Now, Lance Armstrong had a higher VO2 max than the world record holder in the marathon, and he had a higher lactate threshold. So if these were what determine your performance, he should be able to keep up with the world record holder, or at least be pretty close to it. But he got his butt kicked. He ran like a 2:58. That's a good time in the marathon, but not for the world-class athletes. He's almost an hour behind Paul Turgot. Why? Because Paul Turgot had his muscles specifically trained for running, while Lance Armstrong had his muscles specifically trained for biking. And so muscles are a much bigger limiter of your performance than your metabolic systems. And that's proof. I can't get any more clear than that. That is the greatest case study on this that I could ever imagine, because we have someone who's the greatest of all time in his sport, an endurance sport, that's kind of similar to running. And we take him and just change implements, and he's 50% slower than where he otherwise would be had he been a runner. Okay, but it's not even the number one thing that limits your performance. What is number one? And go ahead and type it in the chat if you know what it is. I'll give you a second here. Hello, Lacey from Idaho. James, have enjoyed your cast on all aspects of running. Thank you, James, and welcome to our live here. If you have questions as we go, type them and I'll come back at the end. By the way, for my VIP runners, some of them who are on here, we're doing a live cast for you tonight as well, special just for you. Okay, so we have the mindset. You've heard this word mindset. I'm just going to call it the mind. Mindset, mind. And it sounds cheap. It's like, oh yeah, I've got the will to push hard. Just get me there and I'll do it. We kind of pay lip service to mindset, but we don't really improve it. And that's a mistake, because once you arrive on the starting line of your race, it's already too late. You're already as fit as you're going to be. The hay is in the barn and you're just there to execute. So mindset isn't about how hard you can push. And that's what I call in the book, in the mindset section, section 1, we talk about this. That's just grit and tenacity, your ability to push hard when it counts And as a distance runner, I'm sure that you believe you can push hard when it counts. It's not about pushing hard. It's not about pushing hard. In fact, you can run your best when you're relaxed and you're going fast 100%, but you're not pushing hard. You're not like, when you see Kipchoge set a world record, he's smiling. He's not dying and falling down, right? Interesting. He's pushing hard, but the mindset is, will I do the things that will get me to where I want to go? Will I go to bed on time? Will I get off my phone and go to sleep so I can get 9 hours of sleep and recover? That's mindset. Will I eat the right foods in order to improve my health so I can recover and perform better and have better body composition? That's mindset. It's the smaller decisions that really are the bigger decisions as we compound them throughout your training. So again, mindset is not pushing hard in the race. It's who you become in your life. What do you think? How do you feel? How do you set your goals? Do you believe in your goals? How big are your goals? Why do you even have them? Are you the kind of person who can have them? You're not, because if you were, you'd already have them. So you're going to need to change, but change is hard and change hurts. What are you going to have to leave behind? Are you going to have to leave behind a job or a spouse or a limiting belief or a certain friend or a habit or eating potato chips at night or whatever it is? What are you going to have to leave behind? And what are you going to have to start doing that hurts? Maybe invest money to go to the gym or hire a coach or hire a personal trainer or buy better running clothes or move so you have access to trails because you want to be an ultra runner. That's what I did. But there's one we haven't talked about yet. It's very important. It's very important, and it's the most subtle thing here. This is your body composition. You can also call it your anthropometry, which is just how your body is designed, shaped, really. Now, we're not going to change the length of our legs or the length of our arms, but we can change the amount of fat. We can change our body composition. So we can change our lean tissue mass. We can change our fat tissue mass. We can change our bone density. We can change the strength of our ligaments and tendons. And this is really the most subtle thing that influences all of your performance. And if you don't, so imagine a 400-pound person who's like, 5'10", 400 pounds. Just imagine. And they could really want to run a world-class marathon, and they could get really strong muscles, and they could improve their VO2 max and lactate threshold. But if they're 400 pounds, they're probably not. Now, I've been wrong before, but they're probably not going to excel hugely at the marathon. So the body composition is really what drives our ability to take action, condition ourselves, have a strong heart and lungs, have strong metabolic systems. But really what matters is our muscles, because running is a muscular event. You can have a strong heart and lungs, but if you're putting it into push-ups as opposed to running with your legs, you're not going to go very far in the race. It's really a muscular event. And none of this matters if your mind isn't in alignment. So that's the second thing we're going to talk about here. Now, I told you that there's a couple of reasons why I wrote this book. So number one is that the literature out there, and I've got, over on my bookshelf here, I've got like all the running books, and some of them talk about mindset. Some of them talk about muscles, but really only when it comes to marathon pace a little bit. Most of them focus here. They just focus here. That's why I wrote this book. That's half of the reason why I wrote this book, because everything else is here. This book zooms out and tells you about this, but tells you what really matters and shows you, there's appendices in here and chapters on how to improve your body composition without dieting, without deprivation. We never want to do that. But I'm skinny, in a good way. I'm strong. I'm not here to like show my body. I'm a skinny distance runner, for goodness sake, right? But I've had my body fat percentage measured 2 or 3 times in my life. Last time I did it was 4.9%. So I'm not carrying around a lot of body fat. And in fact, this is in the book as well, I show you what body fat percentages elite runners have versus average people, even average runners. I don't want to flip through the book for too long here. Where is it? Anyway, if you've got your book there and you want to share it with us, tell me what page it is. It's early on in the book. There it is. Okay. On page 89, check this out. Page 89, I share the research with you on body fat composition. And what you can see is the average person, so we have males and females, they have 15 to even 25 for men and women % body fat. But if you look at elite runners, they're 5 and about 8 to 9% men and women. So your body fat percentage really does matter if you want to be an exceptional runner, man or woman. All right, so here is the second thing that will break this mold for you. I want you to imagine for a second that you have 3 parts of yourself. I'll move over here for this one. And those parts are your mind, the action you can take, and your emotion, how you feel about it. So most people, these things are kind of like in most areas of life, not every area of life. Now, everybody is sort of a master at something that we're not. Like everybody is our superior in some way. But when it comes to running, this is going to resonate with you. Let's say that this is your mind here. This is what you think. These are your thoughts. And the action that you take, we'll make that a square here. That's the action that you take. So mind, what you think, action that you take, and then there's the emotion of how you feel. So we'll make this one a circle and we'll put it over here. And this is how you feel. Other words, your emotion. So we connect these all together and you go like this. So you start here and you end here. Because these things are not in alignment. You might have some thoughts about, I want to run a lifetime PR, but I feel like I may get injured. So I take subpar action. And so they're not in alignment. You want to run a Boston qualifier under 3 hours in the marathon, but you don't feel you can. You feel you're too old. You feel you might get hurt. So you take action that only is going to naturally lead you to a 3:30 marathon or a 3:40. And they're not talking with each other. So what an elite runner does, and this is really who this book is for. This is why we break down what elite runners are actually doing. And it's called train and think, like the greatest runners of all time. So train and think like the greatest runners of all time. Now, here's how the greatest runners of all time think. They do it differently. They have some thoughts, a thought of, I want to break the world record. I want to run under 2 hours for the marathon. I want to be Olympic champion. Okay? And then the way that they feel is in alignment with that. They believe they can do it. Think of Usain Bolt. When Usain Bolt gets onto the track, he already knows he's won. He's got the gold shoes, just like Michael Johnson. And we talk about Michael Johnson in the book. There's a chapter on him, on his story. I basically summarized this whole book here for you in like a half a chapter in the book. It's called Gold Shoes, Gold Medal. But Michael Johnson and Usain Bolt, when they come out onto the track, they're wearing gold shoes. Now, don't you think they're going to feel awfully silly if they get a silver medal wearing gold shoes? It'd be insane, right? They know, they decided with their mind that they're going to win the gold medal. They feel it in their heart. They have confidence. They have absolute certainty. So they're in alignment. And then the actions that they take. It's not just like thinking that you're going to win and then winning. Michael Johnson in the 1996 Olympics, you might remember him, right? He wore the gold shoes. He set the world record in the 200 and the 400 that stood all the way up until the last Olympics. It's like the longest standing 400 world record ever. What a guy. But at 1992 Olympics, just 4 years before, he was a fast runner, but he didn't have that certainty. He didn't really believe it. So his actions that he took didn't lead him to a gold medal. But in 1996, he changed all of his actions. He trained completely differently. And he overhauled everything, and he let go of his limiting beliefs. He got way more serious. He changed his diet. He changed how he works out. He changed how he relates with his coach. It's freaking amazing. It's a great book. But when you're in alignment like this, look how much further you can go. When the average person goes from here to just here, you can go from here to way up here, simply because all three things are in alignment. Now that is really the power of mindset right there in a nutshell. So that's why I wrote this book. Why did we need another running book? Because other running books, they focus here. They don't zoom out enough and tell you what actually is going to change your running. And the reason is because most people don't want to do it. So the book isn't going to talk. It's not going to speak to most runners. It's going to fall flat because people want to know, just tell me how to improve my heart and my zone 2 training and my all this stuff. It's like, but mindset, talking about my family and my health and my bowel movements and the fat that I have in my body. Oh, come on. It's just, there's nothing wrong with eating a couple hot dogs, and they just want to focus here and they refuse to work on the things that actually matter. And so they're going to get maybe a good result, but you're not going to have a breakthrough in performance until you do all four. And as far as I know, there is no other running book that shows you how to do all four in here. And the most important one is your mindset. Because if you're not in alignment, you're not going to take the right kind of action. And so that's really the crux of what's going on here. And I'll take any questions that you have here, but I encourage you to level up. I encourage you to invest in yourself, to whatever it is. It may be this book, it may be something else, but to level yourself up. If you want to level up your running, this is how it's done. And a lot of coaches, a lot of people say, well, everybody's different. We all need different training. Sure. In terms of our mileage per week and the workouts that we do, it's going to be different. But if you fit within this framework, if you zoom out, we don't need something different. We all need to fit within this framework. If your mind is thinking about how bad life is and how you're going to die and how you suck at running and how it's not fair, it's like you're not going to run that well. If your muscles here, if your muscles aren't trained for the demands of the race, you're not going to do well. If you don't have the metabolic systems here to support the muscles, doesn't really matter. So you could have really strong running muscles from powerlifting, but if you don't do the aerobic benefit in the metabolic systems, you're still not going to run well. And if your body composition is not ideal for the sport that you're going to do, you're going to be leaving something on the table. So I invite you, I welcome you, I encourage you, I want you, I would love for you to click the link in the chat here. And also in the replay, we'll put this for you. And it's a direct link to the book that went live on Amazon. And I'll tell you right now that holy moly. And we're going to come back to put any comments you have in, because I'm going to hang around for a bit here and answer any questions you have on your training, on your mindset, on whatever. Put them in there. But look, the book just hit #1 in running and jogging for new releases and #1 in track and field for new releases on Amazon. That's pretty cool. We also got to take it with a grain of salt because it's a new release. It's #1 in a new release in a category. That's pretty cool. I'll take it. I'm very proud of that. But we also are #2 on, regardless of new release or not, just all of the books in the track and field category, all of them that have ever been on Amazon. #2. This book is #2 right now. And that's saying a lot because #1 is Born to Run. And Born to Run is a fantastic book. And I highly recommend that you read it. Careful, if you read Born to Run, you're probably going to become an ultra runner like me. It was the book that sort of got me into ultra running. But it's not a training book. It's very entertaining. I love it. It's been around for a long time. I read it 12 years ago. So it came out more than that, 15 years ago. It's been around for a long time. Maybe I'll catch it, maybe I won't. There's room for both of us. But to be #2 in that category, and we just launched last week, is amazing to me. I'm very proud of it. You're going to love it. I say that to you because there's no way that you're not going to love this book if you're the kind of person who wants to really level up and be this here. If you want to be in alignment and you want to do your training in a way that is a little bit harder. Now, just going out and doing a lactate threshold run is what a lot of runners do because it's better than having no direction. So they're going to have some success. But if you want to have a breakthrough in your performance, and I'll share one story here with you before we dive into Q&As. And then if you like, I'll answer some questions and I'll take you through a couple stories in the book too that are super fun. But when we get to, I believe it's chapter 4, where is it? Chapter 5. Chapter 5, Billy Mills. Now, Billy Mills, the title is called, Can You Really Cut 2 Minutes Off of a 10K in 1 day? Can you really? 1 day? So run a 10K race, come back the next day and take 2 minutes off. Now, if you're running a 50-minute or a 60-minute or a 70-minute 10K, maybe you could take 2 minutes off. But if you're running a 30-minute 10K at the Olympics, world class, taking 2 minutes off, 29-minute 10K, taking 2 minutes off, that's so big, you can't do it. Or can you? Billy Mills did it at the 1964 Tokyo Olympics. Billy Mills stepped onto the track and he wasn't even wearing the Olympic issued Adidas shoes. They didn't give it to him because they didn't believe that he was a contender for the medal. And Adidas was only giving shoes to people who were likely to maybe possibly win. Not him. He didn't qualify. They didn't give him the shoes. Now, his PR in the race was 2 minutes slower than the other runners. Ron Clark, the reigning world record holder. Mohamed Gamoudi. You remember him from the movie Prefontaine. Mohamed Gamoudi, perhaps. He had no chance. But he went out with the leaders. Lap after lap after lap. He went through the 5K 1 minute faster than he'd ever run a 5K. Not a 5K split in his 10K. Flat out 5K. Now, he's NCAA, I believe he was NCAA champion in the 5K or the 10K. So this guy knows what he's doing. He's very fast. And he just went out a minute faster than his 5K in a 10K. This is impossible. Surely he's going to die. But he kept it up and he did it again. And he took 2 minutes off of his 10K. And he won that race. And it was the biggest upset. I believe it depends who you are. I consider it the biggest upset in Olympic history and one of the best stories I've ever heard in track and field. How did he do it? It was his mind. He talks about his story. I've met him. That's that picture of him and I. And he talks about, and I share with you in there, how he did it with his mind. Eliud Kipchoge broke the world record in the marathon once and then twice. He broke 2 hours in the marathon, 2 hours in a controlled environment. And the reporters asked him, Kipchoge, how are you going to break 2 hours this time when you failed last time? Give me a thumb up or a heart if you know this story. If you watched Kipchoge at the Ineos Breaking 2, let me know. Yeah, a couple of you have seen it. So what happened? He tried to break 2 hours at the Nike Breaking 2 project a number of years before. And he failed. He didn't break 2 hours. So he's trying it again. But he's older. When you get older, you should be slower, right? He's older, and he's going for it again. And the reporters ask him, Kipchoge, what did you do differently this time? Did your training change? Did your coaching change? Did your nutrition change? And he said, oh, I got goosebumps here. This story is the opening story in the book. This is chapter 1 in the book because it's most important. I want you to hear this story. So I go into it in detail, but I'm giving you like cliff notes here. Okay, chapter 1, Kipchoge and the mind of the fastest marathoner in history. We break it down for you. But Kipchoge, he was at the podium and he had his hands in a little steeple. And he said, my training is the same. Coaching is the same. Nutrition the same. Now the thinking is different. Now the thinking is different. So even the greatest of all time, his training was the same. His body composition was the same. Now the thinking is different. So don't neglect this one. Don't neglect the noggin. And it's not so much of like the thoughts you think. Like mindset is not so much the thought you think, but the emotion behind it. That's why when we talk over here, the mind and the feeling, the mind is kind of like your brain, like the monkey brain. The feeling is the emotion in the body that drives you. Because what will you do when you feel in love? When you feel in love with your partner, you would do anything for them, including probably give your own, anything you have, right? Including your own life. And when you feel that way, it drives you to a certain action that you would never otherwise do. What would you do to save your children? Probably anything. But what would you do to like save your iPhone from falling off of a cliff? Maybe a little bit. Not like your children, though. I don't know. For some people, you never know. So if we can cultivate the kind of emotion, that intense emotion, if we can cultivate that in our training, you can go anywhere. You can do what Billy Mills did. You can do what Kipchoge's done. What one man can do, another can do. And Kipchoge says, no person is limited. Is that the motto of the Breaking 2 project? No one is limited, or no person is limited. That's his belief, and he's exemplifying that. So let's listen. Let's take a lesson from the greatest of all time, from the greatest of all times. We talk about, look, Bill Rogers, the great Bill Rogers. He endorsed the book. Thank goodness. I respect this guy so much. I met him about 10 years ago, and it was pretty cool. But Bill Rogers, he won the Boston Marathon 3 times. He was ranked number 1 in the world 4 different times. No, vice versa. He won Boston 4 times, ranked number 1 in the world 3 times in the marathon. This guy is one of the greatest of all time. This American runner who's killed it in the marathon, crushed it, course record after course record, Boston win with course record again and again. He was also good at the shorter distances. This guy knows what he's talking about. I sent this book to him, and he wrote back to me to put his name on it. And he says, Andrew Snow's Running Elite enables anyone to aim higher and succeed with their goals in running. I'm very proud of that. So let's take some questions now, but check the comments and go ahead, pick up your copy. If you don't, look, the price of the book is going to be where it is for a while because I want to get it out there. But eventually, I'm going to increase the price of the book. Not now. You have some time. You have a couple weeks. And the audiobook will be coming. It's uploaded already. It just takes like a week or 2 for Audible to get it. So if you want an audio version, that's coming as well. Thank you. Very proud of you, Coach. Thank you. Appreciate it. All right. Let's see here. Okay. We got some questions here. So I'm going to answer them. Go ahead and type. I'm going to go through all of them. So if you have other comments, go ahead and ask them, and I'll just go through chronologically. Mental, Justin Nevins. Yeah, you got it right. Efficiency, Frank. Hey, Frank. Good to see you on here. Justin and Frank talking with each other. Quincy. Hey, Quincy. The book is excellent. Much appreciated, Quincy. So let me know if you get the book. Please email me or message me or comment on YouTube or comment on this. Let me know, because I'm actually keeping a list of people who have got the book, and I'm going to personally thank each and every single one of you at the end of our YouTube videos in the future. We're going to have like a credit roll of anybody who's let me know. So Quincy, I just added you to that list, Quincy Miller, because I didn't know you were on there. Let me know. Just message. Put it in the comments. Even after we're done, if you're on the replay, let me know that you got the book. Let me know what you think. Please leave a review. It really helps so much. I will stick to my race plan or start out too fast and burn out at mile 23. Justin, yep. So when you burn out at mile 23, there's a couple of keys to that. The main reason is, well, there's 2. One is pacing. If you paced it more conservatively, you might not burn out at 23. But then again, you're leaving something on the table because you're going out slower, and you might not want to do that. So you have to do what you want. So if it's either change the mindset about what it is you want and dial the pace down, or change the storage of glycogen within the muscles. And I teach you how to do that. There's 2 stories in here. They're fantastic. You're going to love this. Page 266, we talk about, so there's a whole chapter on Jerry Lindgren. This guy is an amazing runner. If you don't know who he is, you have to. This guy broke the mold with everything. But the guy behind him, Kenny Moore, this guy right here, he was an Olympic marathoner. And he used to hit the wall. And then he stopped hitting the wall. What changed? And then Jeff Galloway, you've probably heard of Jeff Galloway, right? The guy who now promotes like run walk method. He was an Olympian too. They were teammates. Jeff Galloway was a marathoner, and he hit the wall at mile 20 in all of his races. And so he tried to get over this. What did he do? He increased his mileage, and he ran 150 miles a week, 180 miles a week, 200 miles a week, 230 miles a week. Jeff Galloway. That's a lot. Trying to train his body to not bonk in a marathon, but he kept bonking at mile 20. But he got over it. How? Kenny Moore told him. He said, do over distance runs. Kenny Moore would do a 30-mile training run, and then get on the easy, and then get on the track and do 6,000 meter repeats at 10K pace. That kind of run kept him from bonking because it teaches you to store glycogen. So the punchline is Jeff Galloway started doing this. And according to him, and I've got his quote in the book, according to Jeff Galloway himself, he never hit the wall again in any of his marathons that he competed in. And he competed in like a lot more in his career, like 50 something. I don't know what it was. It's in the book. Never hit the wall again after doing these. So, but how do you get yourself to be able to do 30-mile training runs without getting injured? That's the triphasic model. So there's one thing that I didn't go through here because it's what the book is when training the muscles, most of it, okay, is on how to train your muscles. And this is section 2 of the book. It's the triphasic model. And I have lots of videos on that, but we spend section 1 on mindset, and it's like a quarter of the book. And then we spend half of the book or more on how to condition your muscles. So I give you the training that you need. I give you the training templates, the paces you should run, the workouts you can do, how to peak your mileage, how to peak your performance, how to peak your workouts so that you have a peak in performance, how to do it without getting injured. And then at the end of the book, this is so crazy cool. I say this on the blurb on the back too. It says, with new insights from research done by the US military and Stanford University on improving performance in as little as 6 weeks, you'll get your hands on the tools that until now only elites had access to. Yep, because I share with you a couple of hacks. I share with you how to use cold, 2 different ways to use cold, how to use heat, tweaking your nutrition, a breakthrough supplement that I learned from Tony Robbins, who's got a lot of access. And I've got his book over on my shelf there, that the military is using in order to increase endurance. And it 6 times increases the endurance of mice in the lab. And so they've already done human trials on this. You've probably heard of it. It's like the whole world of like NMN, NAD, NR, stuff like that. So we have a chapter on that, how to boost that naturally or with a supplement. We go deep. So section 1, mindset. Section 2, training, how to do it. We hold nothing back, show you how to do everything. Section 3 is like special workouts, special hacks that you can do to skyrocket your performance, but only if you've done the foundational work. And you put all 3 together, bam, it goes far. What is the best way to buy the book? Go to Amazon, Frank. Just go to Amazon and you can use the link in the chat, or you can just type in Run Elite Andrew Snow and it'll come up. Thank you, Frank. Let me know if you get it. I'll put you on the thank you list. I got mine on Amazon. Thank you, Justin. I think I've got you on the list already because you commented on YouTube with that, but I'll make sure. Justin Nevins. There are a number of bonuses. When you get the book, there's a QR code, which I'm not going to show here because then it'll be online. But in the back of the book, there's a couple of QR codes. One of them will take you to a website that we built just for this book that's full of bonuses. It's got video bonuses to give you, like the Michael Johnson and the Billy Mills story. We have like videos where you can see certain stuff and hear them. We also have a calculator for calculating your paces. Now, towards the end of the book, the last chapter of setting up your training, we do give you a chart. See if I can find that here. Calculating your paces. There it is. Page 198. I do have a chart because I want you to have this in your book without needing to go online. And it shows you if you want to run, for example, a marathon in whatever time, what your training paces should be for the different phases of training. So that's your race pace, and then different phases of training for your speed work and your endurance work. But I can't put every single possible time in a chart. So I have a calculator, and that's a bonus in the book, and it's free to you. It took a very long time to make that calculator, but you get a lot of bonuses too. Frank, it will be interesting to see what effects Wegovy, Ozempic has on average marathon time. I don't know what you're talking about, but I'll look that up because now I'm curious. I have trouble cutting weight because when I calorie deficit, I don't have the fuel. Yeah, exactly. So you don't cut calories here. We talk about it in the book, but then there's an appendix in the book on how to improve your body composition. And I put it in the back of the book because I don't want people to get like sidetracked. I want you to hear the takeaway. And then if you want to do it, here's like a big appendix on how to do it. And I give you some resources. But essentially, I share with you a number of pieces of research. One of them is called the Broad study, which is the most successful study on weight loss that's ever been done. Meaning that there's a lot, you can get someone to lose weight if you just lock them in a closet and don't feed them, they'll lose a lot of weight. But then when they come out, they're going to gain it back. So a lot of studies, people lose weight, but then they gain it back almost always by the 3-month mark and virtually always by the 6-month mark. So in the Broad study done in New Zealand, they had a very significant weight loss in their clients and in the participants. And they did it, I'll leave a little bit for the book here, but you were allowed to eat ad libitum, which means as much as you want. It's about what you eat, not how much you eat. I eat a lot, a whole lot, and a ridiculous amount, okay, a crazy amount. This is my third one of these watermelon juices in the last 75 minutes. Mostly for convenience because I'm on here. I can't be eating, but I can be drinking. But within like a 2-hour period, I'm going to eat a watermelon that's like bigger than my head, like twice the size of my head, okay? But there's no calories, there's like hardly any calories. When you eat that much, there is. I'm still going to get 1,000 calories. But 1,000 calories from watermelon, I'm so full, I'm so satiated, but 1,000 calories from like fried something or bacon or whatever like that is minuscule. It's like you could fit it in the palm of your hand. 1,000 calorie like Danish with bacon grease and frosting and whatever. So you're not very full. So when you eat the right kinds of foods, you're hydrated, you have enzymes, you have the right ratio of macronutrients, carbohydrate, protein, and fat. Yes, there is fat in fruits and vegetables. Tomatoes are 10% fat, by the way. But I'm only 5% fat. So I eat foods that have 5% fat in them. And it's pretty easy. And you eat as much as you can. And I share with you a couple of stories in the book. I share with you a story about Brett Thomas. He's actually in the testimonials at the beginning, but I tell his story and I've got his picture in there, how he did this. Now Brett took an hour off of his marathon in 9 weeks and he ran a 3:03. So taking an hour off, if you're like a 12-hour marathoner, might be a little easier, but getting down to a 3:03, taking an hour off, how did he do it? Well, he trained really hard. He did a good job. He did a great job, but he overhauled his diet. He lost 22 or 24 pounds in the quality of your diet. This is a big topic though. I'm going to have an entire book on this, but that's probably years away because it's to put the research in. There's 400 research studies cited at the back of this book. And I hired a fact checker. And look these are all the research studies. Page after page after page after page after page after page. I wanted this book to stand the test of time where, look at study after study after study, where nobody could, unless I missed something, which I'm open to, like this is solidly grounded in the science. So solid that you just can't pull it apart. So the nutrition stuff that I talk about as well, it's not my opinion. It's what works. And it's what works for elite runners. And I give lots of examples. There's a couple testimonials in there. There's a couple stories and case studies. You'll see. I totally agree with your reasons for writing the book. Most seem to be about training. I wanted something on the little things that other books don't focus on. Yep. Hello from Crete. Oh, no way. That's so cool. Hey, YK. I'll call you YK. Thanks, Andrew. Always learn something from your trainings. You're welcome. Frank says, what would a marathon-specific workout for muscles look like? Running at marathon pace. But you have to structure this a certain way, okay? If your marathon is 18 weeks away and you start running at marathon pace, don't do that. That's a mistake. It's going to ruin you because you can only run maybe 5 or 6 or 7 miles at marathon pace before you start to get a lot of fatigue because you're not that fit yet. You have an 18-week program. So you don't want to just stack on more, stack on more, stack on more, stack on more. No. That's going to plateau you. It does not work. What you want to do is this is the triphasic model. I've got so much content on this. I'm not going to teach the triphasic model here, but essentially you have 3 phases of training. You start with base training and you work on the extreme ends of speed and endurance. And then you have support training and you bring it in closer to race pace and you run, your slow runs become a little faster and your speed runs become a little slower, but longer. And then you do a specific phase where you run at marathon pace or pretty close to it, but you do a lot of it because you're so fit from doing that support training. That's why it's called support training, right? And now you can do things like 15 miles, 16 miles, even 20 miles of marathon pace running. And I share with you in the book, this is so cool. You're going to love this. Watch this. I share with you actual training of Moses Mosop and Abel Karui and other runners too. But I actually share like the breakdown of exactly what these guys did day by day leading up to winning the world championship in the marathon, winning world championship, and breaking the world record on the Boston Marathon course. What did they train like for the 3 months leading up to it? And I show you. And some of the runs they did were, 24 miles at just about exactly like 5 seconds slower than marathon pace. 24.9 miles it was. So basically a super specific run, but you can't run 25 miles at just slower than marathon pace right now because it's too hard unless you do support training. And you can't do the support training. That's still too hard unless you do base training. So 1, 2, 3, and that's how we get a breakthrough in performance. Congratulations. Thank you. Hi, Andrew. Ray from from Virginia. Love it. Love the book. Thank you. Ray, leave a comment with your last name if you like to, and I'll give you props. I'll list you in our thank yous. Justin says, thanks. Karen, I watch Kipchoge every race and he goes for when he goes for his records. Hi from Ireland. Hello. Love Ireland. Been there a number of times. Hello. No human is limited. There we go. Maksud. Did I say it right? Hi, I have a Berlin Marathon coming up. My 7 years. If I have 1:33 half marathon PB and I'm 56, what would be your pacing strategy? Thanks in advance. Okay. For that, you want to use I want to make sure I don't run out of battery here. 21%. You can use an online calculator to say, if you ran this time, you can probably run this time. But you have to take it with a major grain of salt because those calculators, like Jack Daniels has a good calculator. It's in the other room. I can't get it here. But those calculators assume that you've trained appropriately for each of the races that you're inputting. It doesn't mean there's a lot of high schoolers who can run like a 4:20 mile, but they can't run a 2:30 marathon, even though those are like equivalent times. They're pretty close, I'm guessing. Because the high schooler doesn't have the mileage and the long runs and the experience. So running one time does not mean you can run the other. So running a half marathon gives you an idea of what you maybe could run a marathon in, but only if you train for the marathon. So if you don't do the long runs, the over distance runs, and a lot of the workouts that you can do that I share with you in part 3 of the book, like the sarcomere runs, alternation runs, you'll learn about those here. If you don't prepare yourself specifically for the marathon, you could expect that you would perform worse at a distance you haven't performed at. So you can use one of those online calculators. I would do it for you here, but just go to like Macmillan running, type in Macmillan running calculator and use that, or use Jack Daniels VDOT calculator. They'll give you an approximation, but it's not true. Okay. The calculator is not going to tell you what time you can run. It tells you what time you could probably run if you trained for that. So train for the marathon. Specificity in training will get you that time or better. All right. Good question though. Love it. Very proud of you, coach. Thank you. Nice. I have my first Boston coming up in April. Yes. First Boston. Boston is incredible. I've run it. These are the Boston shoes that Ultra made actually for the first year this racing shoe came out. 2018. It's got 18 on it. It says Boston right there. Boston. There's one of my Boston medals right there. I gave all my medals away, but I kept one. The first time I went under 3 hours in the marathon, that was so special. I kept that medal. That's that medal. Boston is outstanding. Please do it. I have the book, Justin Nevins. Yay. Thank you for your support. Please leave a review, Justin. I encourage you to, if you like. Just bought it. Frank. Okay, I'll put you on the thank you list. Frank Le Holier. Le Holier. Did I say it right? It's a great name. I love it. Thanks, Frank. Please let me know what you think. Your book is in front of me. Yes. AJ, comment. Leave me a comment with your full name if you like. Otherwise, I'll just say thanks, AJ. Max. Oh, I saw that you wrote to me, Max. You let me know. The book will give you the info you need. Highly recommend it. You will be happier runner too. Thank you so much. Look, it sounds like hyperbole. Everybody who writes a book probably wants to say, oh, it's the greatest book ever written. I mean, I think that. Don't believe me. Go read the reviews. Pick it up. Look, if you read it and you don't like it, Amazon even lets you return it. I mean, don't return. You're not going to want to, but it's like, it is. This is the greatest running book that you're going to find for the kind of person who's on this. Like for the kind of person who wants to like just dabble, it's not. It's really not. Don't get it. Please don't get it. Stay away. It's going to piss you off. You're going to like the stories, but you're not going to, it's going to make you feel like, ah, shit, I could do more and I don't want to. If you want to do more, it's the book for you. I think that's most runners really, but you have to, I mean, I don't really know. A lot of runners, most runners who are out there, they're just jogging around with their headphones on and don't really care. John Hanna, I ordered your book yesterday. Thank you so much, John. I'll capture you here. John Hanna. We're almost at a nice threshold of numbers of, look, I'm going to do some bonuses with you guys too. I can't tell you what it is here, but watch out in like a week or week and a half. I'm going to give you some extra bonuses if you got the book. You're going to love it. I can't tell you too much right here. I just want to keep serving you. Okay. So understand, even if you didn't get the book, I'm going to share with you some bonuses that you can have if you do get the book in like a couple weeks time. I'm going to keep delivering to you. I can't say what it is yet. You'll see why, but it's fun. Palmer Cooling. I tried it and it works. Hell yeah. Justin, what Justin's talking about is a hack that's in the book that is insane. It's a hack that every NFL and every NBA team, as of the writing of the book, all NFL teams and all but one NBA team was using this technique. Now all NFL and all NBA teams are using this technique. It's a technique in order to literally, like goosebumps, literally 6 times, 600%. They studied pull-ups and dips for NFL players, and they were able to get 600% increase instantaneously from one day to the next with this technique. And you can use it for your endurance running too. Are you going to go from running a 9-minute mile to a 3:55 mile? No, you're not. You got to do the other stuff too. But is it going to dramatically help you? Absolutely. And you can use it as a training tool in your racing if it's hot, or you can use it as a racing tool or a training tool in your training of intervals. It's very powerful there. One of my runners, Tim, he's featured in the book. Towards the back, I've got a case study of him. Tim just keeps getting older and running faster and getting older. We started working together when he was 49 and he ran like a 250, mid 250s. And then at 50, he broke 250. And then at 51, he ran 240. I got the times in here. It was a 244, something like that. Now at 52, he's going for sub 240 and he's going to do it at Chicago. Mark my words. Because he's improved his body composition. He finally did. Okay, I'll take more comments, but I need to plug it in if we're going to go for more than a couple minutes. So let me see if we can finish these here, and then if not, I'll plug it in. Is the book released on Apple Books? Not yet. It will be, but it's going to take probably 2 months for that. It's going to come. You're actually going to be able to get it at Barnes & Noble. You'll get Audible next. That'll be available in like a week or so. Then you'll get hardcover, and you'll be able to get it at bookstores as well. And then things like Apple Books, you will, but it's not quite yet. My priority was Amazon. Marilyn is here. Yay, Marilyn. Marilyn is one of my VIP clients who I can't say enough good things about. She's featured in the book a little bit as well. Just purchased 2 books. Oh yeah, let me know who you are. It says Facebook. It says Facebook user on my platform here. Just type in the comment. I'll come back and I'll look who you were. I'm actually going to give some swag away with multiple purchases of the book. I can't tell you how many and what the swag is right now. Stay tuned like a week from now, but keep track. If you got multiple copies of the book, you have some opportunity for cool stuff. Good calories, good calories, good calories. That's right. Look, I want to stay here with you guys without having to lose you, so I have to plug the computer in. Give me a second. Type in comments, and I'll answer each and every one before we go, but I need to plug in. Okay. We are charging. All right. It's nice to have a running book with citations. Right. Thanks, Frank. Honestly, that's why it took 3 years to write, because I wanted to just say everything I wanted to say, but I didn't want someone to be able to pick it apart and disprove. So I'm like, I've got to put all the science in. And it took forever, many months. And then I had to have a fact checker go through all my citations and make sure everyone was good. And you're not allowed to use things like Wikipedia and stuff. It's like, if you got to use peer-reviewed evidence-based research. And it took a long time, a lot of work. And it cost more, a lot more, because I had to like pay the fact checker and pay the formatting for it. And now it's costs more money for me to print it to get it to you, because there's more pages. It's like, it makes it way harder, but it makes it way better. So thank you for that. Can you go too slow on easy runs and long runs? I usually prefer to do them on the slow side. For example, if you run a 15-minute 5K, would you still get training effects running a 10-minute run? Well, Kenenisa Bekele, the second fastest marathoner who's ever lived, greatest cross-country runner of all time, former world record holder in the 5K and 10K. There's video of him inside my course. Actually, I have a Run Elite course as well. We can talk about that later. You can email me if you're interested in joining coaching. I'll drop that link here. You can email me if you're interested in coaching, or just go to my website. Go to andrewsnowcoaching.com if you want to learn about that. But Bekele, he does part of his long runs at 10-minute pace, but he's running 440 miles for a marathon, and he runs 10-minute pace. He can run 12:40 something for the 5K, and he'll run 10-minute pace. So if you're running 15 something for the 5K, which is outstanding, by the way, don't be afraid of running 10 pace. Good enough for Bekele, good enough for you, good enough for me. Yes, run slow, but the triphasic model means you want to run slower when you're in base training, less slow as you move towards your peak. So it's not always a yes, but the answer is, in short, yes, it's okay. Dave Smith, awesome. Hey, love seeing you on here. Dave is one of the guys who's overhauled his diet and changing body composition in a big way, and it's outstanding. My book is waiting in the USA for me. Yay, love it. Is that Georgia? Running Andrew Rigglesworth. Oh man, I love your name. We got the same name. Different last name. Fairly new to your video content, but really like how much research based. Thank you. Just ordered your book. Genuinely excited to see how this can add to my running, training, and racing. Well, thank you so much, Andrew. I'm going to add you to our thank you list. We're going to start doing that on YouTube at the end of... So we're about complete here because I don't see any more comments coming. There's a couple more coming. I'm going to start something at the end of our YouTube videos moving forward in the future where we're going to have a credit roll, and I'm just going to give thanks to people who have done various things. Bought the book or reviewed the book. We had some people who gave super thanks over the last couple of weeks, which I only learned about recently. It's really cool. So you can do that here as well if you like. I think on a live it's called the super chat. Hey, whatever you want. If you like, you're welcome to leave a super chat or a super like. It's basically just a way to leave a tip. I'm here for you no matter what. You can just, get the book if you want to support me. But I just like to give a special thank you to people who do support in various ways. So if you leave a review, I'll put you on there. Just know I want to acknowledge you that this isn't just a computer or a phone or however you're watching right now. It's not just there. You're a human. I'm a human. We're just connecting through this amazing technology. And I want to acknowledge you as a human for your supporting me as a human. It's like, let's have this relationship. That feels good to me. I want to serve you guys and love you guys. So 2 books just purchased. Dave Smith. Yeah. Boom. Go get it, Dave. Love it. Okay. So we are complete here. Thank you. We went just about an hour. I'm going to go finish my watermelon juice. And I have a meeting at a running store who's going to carry this book that I got to be at in an hour. And thank you. Thank you for helping make this book a success. We're number 1 in 2 categories, number 2 overall in 1 category for running, which is can hardly believe. It's not a competition, but it's a competition from within. I want to give value. And as one of my mentors, Tony Robbins, says, and you can read about Tony Robbins in here as well. some of the exercises we do. He says your compensation in life, in anything, with love, with money, with fame, with health, whatever, is in direct proportion to the amount of value you give. Give more love, get more love. Give more value, get more clients. Give more into the gym, get more gains. Give more into your, it's like what you receive is a reflection of what you give, but there's a delay. So I feel I'm receiving a lot of love, a lot of support from y'all. Thank you so much. I hope that I've given 10 times to you what the cost of the book is. I'm sure that it's that and more. So thank you so much. It's almost sad to hang up, but I'm going to hang up now, and I'll see you on our next live stream, our next YouTube video. And again, if you're on the replay or if you got the book here, I got a running list going. Leave your name so I can just thank you, okay? Because there's like a three figures, like in the hundreds of people who I don't know who got the book, who got it. Let me know, because I want to thank you. And make sure you scan the QR code at the back for the bonuses. Don't miss out on your bonuses. They're fun, they're awesome, and I'll see you on the book website. Thank you so much, and take care.